Yo, what's going on? You here with your boy DJ T Made. Welcome to Mind, Body, and Soul. I'm here with Shyla
Healy.
Healy. Forgive me. First, I want to give a special shout out to our executive media producer, the Judge, and we're missing a few people today. We're missing Tyree, my boy Ree, and Jazz. Want to give a special shout out to them real quick. They had some stuff that they needed to take care of today, so they weren't able to sit in with us. So, but it's all gravy. We're gonna keep this thing rolling.
They're here with us in
And
spirit.
what?
They're here with us in spirit.
That's right. The judge says they're here with us in spirit, and they are. So, Shayla,
Shyla.
Shyla, forgive me.
That's okay.
Shyla is here with us to talk about financial standpoint, credit, financial literacy, and man, this is one of my favorite topics. Like we talked about before the show, I bought a course myself, and I just been trying to educate myself, and I feel like this is something that's like super valuable and well needed in our community to get our people on track financially, because that's one of the main things that we kind of face in our community, and it hinders us in so many different areas. And so Shayla's company is Shyla company is My Credit Healer, and she's just gonna give us a little bit of game about what she's doing and how long she's been doing it. So Shyla, tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. So my name is Shyla Healey. I am president and CEO of My Credit Healer, registered and trademarked,
Mm,
because I'm serious about my business.
mm.
Okay.
Gotta throw that in there.
I do. I
Gotta let
do.
them know.
Exactly.
LLC, baby. LLC.
Hello. I've been running My Credit Healer. It'll be 5 years March 18th actually.
Congratulations.
I've been in the financial industry since I was 17, so over 20 some odd years. I've been doing credit repair though over about 10 years, and it started in the banking field when I was in the bank. So I used to be a personal banker, a teller, a branch manager, and things of that sort. And that's where it actually started, helping people with their credit cards and getting mortgage loans and doing HELOCs and really learning the back end of what the bank would allow me to do. But also, I was born and bred into this financial industry due to my grandmother. She's been in it since I was born. So I knew about finances. I knew about how to budget and stuff like that. But I still messed up my own stuff. I was still outside my own budgets and credits. So it really became a passion, especially at first being a single mom with 4 kids, holding down 2 jobs while doing everything on my own, and still ended up with like a 400 and some odd credit score, and have to rebuild it and reteach myself and unlearn
Right.
our community habits, our generational habits.
Right.
Can't break something if you don't know what it
What's
was,
yeah.
if it was already ingrained into you because of other people's issues and fears. And oh, well, we don't do that because this, and oh, well, Pookie from down the way said that his is this, that, and the third, but Pookie also got his stuff in his baby mama's name and the other things in his mama's name too. So
Right.
you taking advice from who again?
Hmm.
So that's really what started my passion, was in the banking and also being in the communities, learning the different things as well.
Okay. Okay. And so now, what's your forte in the credit business? Is it more personal? Is it more business? Or are you kind of dipping and dabbling in both of them?
So my expertise, I said I like to say I'm the personal subject matter in personal consumer credit.
Hmm.
Can I do business? Absolutely, but that's not my lane. My lane is personal consumer credit because I like to learn about the laws, the regular Jane and Joes of the world, teaching them how to really get over, not get over as in, oh well, let me trick the system, but to really turn their lives over and really learn about these laws to actually help themselves.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. And so, what's when you're taking a client in for the first time and they're just learning about credit, or are they having issues with their finances, budgeting and whatnot? What's some of the things that you start them off with to try to get them on the right track?
So first, I like to do what's called an intake, right? I like to see where their mind is, because mindset is everything. Because if you're like, well, I need to fix my credit because my goal is to get a home.
Hmm.
But then I look at your credit and I'm like, well, what happened to this late payment? What happened here? And you're giving me all these stories of what happened. It also lets me know your mindset, because your mindset also creates your habits, right?
Hmm.
If your credit is trash, 9 times out of 10, your budget is trash as well.
Right.
So I like to look at it all as a financial whole. Like, well, let's get some things together with your budget too, because if you don't have the correct budgeting habits, it's not going to do anything for credit because I can help you with your credit all day. But if you still not paying certain things on time, well, what's the point?
Right. Right.
So it's an overall look when it. What's your goal?
Right.
What are you going to do that actually takes to get there? Are you really dedicated to what you're talking about?
Hmm.
Because I can help you. We can be accountable. We can go together when it comes to this journey. But I'm about to snatch your ass.
Right.
Your
Now go ahead.
edges.
Go ahead. Sometimes we need that tough love, especially in this area. So like for myself, I realized that I had an issue budgeting and just kind of like keeping track of where my money was going. And I remember sitting down and saying that this is going to be a process where it's going to be more that unlearn, relearn type of thing, and it's going to take a lot of patience and a lot of practice on doing it, and a lot of failure times. And so I remember sitting down and going through my bank accounts and writing down every transaction,
Mm-hmm.
and then seeing like, okay, I'm repeatedly doing this. How can I how can I fix this leakage that I'm having in my system?
Mm-hmm.
And you will find a way, and then something else will start leaking.
Yeah.
So my question is, when somebody's trying to, when they're working with you and they're trying,
Mm-hmm.
but because of habit and the way that they've been doing stuff, what's some stuff that you feel like has helped some of your clients in the past keep doing what they're doing when they're building the system, and kind of keep on track of like uh, rewriting a script in their mind to.
Right. So first, I actually make them take a whole step back because you've been accustomed to doing certain things and having certain things like the Hulus, the Netflixes, and
Mhm.
going out to eat. Right. Don't necessarily cold turkey, and taking all that stuff away. Right.
Mhm.
Because we still are addicted to the Netflix, the Hulus,
Right.
the Burger Kings, and stuff like
Gotta
that.
have
But
it, yeah.
right, but putting yourself on a realistic
Mhm.
budget and actually noticing it, right? So even if you have to start 1 month at a time, like I have a couple of clients I just started in January. I was like, I need your first month's banking statements, right? You're gonna give them to me eventually, but I want you to go ahead and do a couple of things. First, I need you to highlight any subscriptions that you pay for monthly,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Break those down. We're gonna figure those out.
Mhm.
Next time I have you highlight all your household bills, utilities, the mortgage, the car insurance. I'm gonna go ahead and put car in with the because that's something that you absolutely have to have,
Right.
right?
Right.
Now I need you to go ahead and mark down food. I don't care if you go to Walmart, HEB, whatever it is. Every time you go and swipe that card, I need you to go ahead and highlight that. And that's where we're gonna start with the three top things
Mhm.
to start really breaking it down and start looking at those things. Because once you're like, you know what? How in the world did I spend $620 something in food?
Right.
Knowing I only bought about $200 in real groceries. What can I do to better that?
Yeah.
Or here's a better thing. Love Starbucks. You paying what, $10 a day in Starbucks?
Mhm.
Why don't you go and get the Starbucks at the grocery store and just get you a coffee
Mhm.
maker to save you some money?
Yeah.
Still have it,
Yeah.
but doing those little steps. That way you can still feel like you're really doing
Mhm.
what you really want, but it takes that discipline.
Yeah.
Just starting with two or three things just to start with, and that's what I tell them to step back and do. When they start managing that, I'm like, okay, now let's look at some other things.
Okay.
What are you doing annually? So what things can you pay for annually rather than monthly?
Mhm.
Because people look at that monthly Amazon for, right? Everybody loves the Prime. It's delivered to my door probably 2-3 times a day, right?
It's the new Target.
Hello, I ain't got to go outside, but I can do all the shopping I want to, right?
Yeah.
Do I pay $15 plus taxes a month,
Mhm.
or do I just pay the 140 a year?
Cause you saving.
Because I'm
Yeah.
saving. It's the little things that make the biggest.
Yeah.
That,
Yeah.
that makes the biggest impact.
It really is.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So I start having my customers think about those type of things.
Mhm.
What can we dial back, but also indulge in? Because you need to be able to feel the fruits of your labor. You're not just yes, you're hustling, you're doing all these things to make sure that you get what you want, but you need to be able to enjoy them in the same sense.
Right. Right.
I'm not gonna give up my nails and my hair, but what do I got to do to get there?
Right.
That means that I can't go and do a steak dinner every every week like I want to at Longhorn.
Yeah.
So instead of
Yeah.
spending $60 a week at Longhorn, let me go ahead and spend that $60 and get me 4 or 5 steaks at Sam's Club.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's talk about tackling debt. Um, First of all, I know there's a few different ways that you could tackle debt. You got the snowball effect. You got the what was
Avalanche.
the avalanche effect. And um, first of all, have you heard of Dave Ramsey, the Total Money Makeover?
Yes.
How do you feel about that as a credit repair agent? Because that's I mean, there's a lot of
Can I
people that
plead
run
the
a
fifth?
That's a lot of people that I mean. I read Total Money Makeover, and then I've also read, like I said, Think and Grow Rich. I've read Rich Dad Poor Dad and Robert Kiyosaki's How to Raise Your Financial IQ, and there's two totally different points. One talks more about the standpoint of cutting up your credit cards and just operating kind of like on this this only need basis, like bare minimum. And the other one talks about creating assets to live, to kind of create this lifestyle that you want and lowering your liability column a little bit.
But you can, the thing, I can agree to disagree with all of it. And the reason being is because it then goes back to your habit. Because if you don't know how to operate in investments and flip things and stuff like that, if you don't have the time to really learn about it, how can you work with the Rich Dad Poor Dad investments
Right.
and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Or cutting up your credit cards. Well, you need credit cards to keep a good credit score and stuff too. You need to know how to properly use them and how to keep them going. To actually, it's better you have it than not. It's better you have it and not need it than need it and not have it. It's all of that comes to it. So some things I don't necessarily agree with. However, they are great spokesmen, and that tailors to a certain type of audience as well.
Okay.
So I kind of don't indulge in those type of people, even though they're great hosts and they do have a great speaking, but it also tailors back to, are you a person that if you get a credit card, you know you about to spend, and you ain't got no intention in paying it back? Are you going to pay it off each month? Or
Yeah.
do you know how to properly use it? Are they also teaching you what to do if you were to do all this? That's the difference.
Okay. Okay. So, in your standpoint, how do you teach your clients how to go about eliminating debt effectively?
Um,
And do you teach your clients then? Is there an importance being taught that you kind of follow of, hey, there's a such thing as good debt and bad debt?
yes,
Okay.
there is such a thing as a good debt and a bad debt. However, then again, it goes back to what is their habit. If they're coming to me, they already have a bad financial habit, right? And most of my audience are single moms that's trying to overcome this financial chaos. They're trying to manage a work life and also get this income and do this, but also support their kids, but also try to have enough credit. They're trying to build the dream for their children. So that's my particular audience, right?
Okay.
So I go back and I teach them on how to get out of debt that they've already gotten into, but still be able to do themselves with their kids, and then keep going from there, right? For the most part, I like to teach the snowball method first, because you got to see the small wins to keep seeing the big.
Psychologically.
Psychologically,
Right.
That's where most of my clientele come from. They need to see the small wins to be like, you know what, I'm really doing a damn thing, blah, blah, blah. And I paid this off and I just kept doing this, and now they're creating a habit.
Yeah.
To whereas people's like, no, I want this debt gone fast. So I'm like, all right, that's the avalanche. So we're going to start with the highest interest first, because that means that we about to
Chop it up. Chop.
let's
Throwing
go.
everything at it, right?
Right. That means we about to sit here and do this, do that, and then let's start talking about other things as well. Not just from getting rid of debt, but also creating a financial forward. What I mean by that is looking at other things that you can invest in, like, does your kids have life insurance? Does your kids have a plan that you don't have to worry about student loans later on, because they'll be able to pull out of their own life insurance policies by the time they go to college?
Right.
Do you have a life insurance plan? Because what happens if something was to happen to you today? Who's going to take care of your children? Not putting it in their names, because it'll be caught up in probate and all this other stuff afterwards. We're talking about a complete financial forward type deal. So there was a second part to your question. I'm trying to remember what it was.
It was
Well,
the good debt and bad debt, but you like you said, that's kind of a part of,
yes.
their discipline movement. At the start of things, and I feel like that's probably something that naturally will come. Like as you pan down your bad debt, you would naturally know like, okay, that was bad debt because I made the decision to spend this credit card on something that's a liability and doesn't bring me back
But was it
cash.
really a bad thing? Because credit cards can be a good debt too.
That's true.
Because you can get cash back on credit cards. I could spend $20,000 on the Discover card because I want to invest into a house.
Right.
It's a
And
good
then
debt.
that'll be considered a good debt.
That's a good debt. But also, I'm probably getting cash back bonus of about 5% off that 20,000 too. So I also got this cash on the back end.
Hmm.
There's all kinds of different things. Versus, I'm gonna go ahead and spend this $20,000 because I got all this stuff on Amazon.
That's my point. That's my point right there. That's my point. And another thing that I've been learning too, and I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but utilizing the credit card how it's meant to be used as a tool. When we talk about when I talk about that, I mean taking your weekly check or bi-weekly check and saying, okay, well, I have $800 check coming in every week. Um, I only have, let's say, $300 worth of expenses this week. Putting that money on the credit card and saying, okay, at the end of this month, I'm turning around and taking my money that I work for and I'm paying that credit card back because it's more of a revolving door than saying, oh, I'm taking my hard-earned money and I'm going to pay this bill and then I have to go back out and try to figure out how to make that $300 again. Is that something that you find um, useful in a financial standpoint? Once you kind of get your debt paid up and you got this new habit going, to try to transition your finances to more of a credit card standpoint to revolve your money versus having to recycle your money every month.
So yes, so if you can put your utilities and stuff on a credit card because you know you're gonna pay outright cash for it anyway, that's actually helping build your credit and stuff here and there, depending on what your credit lines and things of that sort. So let's say for example, you have a credit line of $1,000.
Hmm.
You know $300 of that is only about 30%,
Hmm.
and that is what you're paying in utilities. So already in a FICO standpoint, I'm not talking about ventures because there's two different scoring systems, right? You're already getting some of the max points if you want to, but you know that you were going to pay that anyway, and you're just paying that off every month.
Right.
He is paying it off every month, not paying a minimum payment,
Right.
and not getting that interest and stuff like that, and you still get cash back bonuses depending on what type of card you have,
Right.
right?
Right.
But it's the importance of all of those type of workings and
Hmm.
stuff. Um, as far as using your paycheck, I would say having it, putting at least 20% into savings, right?
Hmm.
30% of your needs, 50% is what goes into whatever else you want,
Hmm.
right? As far as household, yes, you have needs and stuff like that. How do I put this in a better? Come back to me on that.
On the
Because there's certain ways to do your paycheck, and I'm trying to keep
so
it
like
broken down
okay.
in a budget
And
sense.
I think we're on the same path because I take 25% of my money and I've been splitting it up for an emergency fund. Now, 25% of my money is only split up because I'm trying to reach $2,000. There's a guy on YouTube's named Minority Mindset,
Okay.
and he talks about when you first get your check, the first thing that you want to do is try to build up a cushion of an emergency fund. I mean, of course,
Hmm.
six to what is it like 6 to 12 months of emergency fund most of the time.
If you're
People
just
talking
starting
about.
out,
Hmm.
again, we're talking about normal consumer Joe and Jane, right?
Hmm.
People ain't thinking about 6 to 12 months. They
Hmm.
thinking about right now,
Right now, yeah,
right? You
yeah.
want to start with the 3 to 6 months.
Hmm. Okay.
Because say if you lose a job, it might take 3 to 6 months for you to actually
Hmm.
get another job. So you want to have at least that as a cushion, right?
Hmm.
So whatever your expenses is each month, you want to have at least 3 to 6 months of that. If you
Hmm.
can get the 6 and 12 months, absolutely, definitely do that.
Okay. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. So then that's what the point you was trying. What is it like a 70? It's a 70-30 rule or sometimes.
There's a 70-30, there's a 50-30-20. It all depends on what works for you.
Hmm.
So, and I apologize for chewing on gum. I shouldn't be
Oh
doing
no, it's all right.
that. But
You got some more?
I do in the car.
We can pause it real quick.
Right. But so like I said, single moms are my thing, right? And they're like, I do all this additional stuff, and everything is involved around my kids. We got football, we got this, and
Mm-hmm.
blah blah. And they're robbing the people to pay Paul.
Mm-hmm.
I need you to pay 10% to you first. I need you to pay another 10% into another savings.
Yeah, yeah. It's almost like I ain't doing that.
Right. When they actually sit there and think about it, I'm like, why not? You got 401k that's already paying 3%. So if you have to start with that, I don't care if it's $25. If you got to do a set amount, do something.
Mm-hmm.
Not just nothing, but do something. Put it into a savings account or something that's far away.
Mm-hmm.
So, say I'm from Kansas City, right? I have what's called UMB Bank, which is usually in the Midwest. The closest one is in Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not driving 3 hours away to go get some money. Do I have access? Absolutely. But guess where I put my credit card? Somewhere out my reach.
Yeah.
That way I ain't got to get into it. But if I was to tell you every week I got $70 going into it,
Yeah.
that's meant for me.
Yeah.
Because I said I'm keeping my hair and my nails done,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because that's where I started. I was like, you know what? Let me start with $25 a paycheck. Because I was like, I'm doing all this work, all this saving, all this everything, and I ain't seeing nothing.
Yeah.
Hair wasn't done, nails wasn't done, stayed in depression. When I finally started doing for me, my kids started flourishing.
Yeah.
My house started flourishing.
Yeah.
Everything around me started multiplying and stuff like
and
that.
then we could talk about energy. Money is an energy. The more that you keep it, the longer you keep it, it drawing to you is want to be multiplied. So it just keep calling on you. The more you saving it, the more you know you
more you
nurturing it.
see.
It's like your marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Once you show that you committed, it just start pouring out the juices.
Right. But you know what I started? A marriage to myself first.
There you go.
Before I even met my husband.
Yeah.
Didn't even know he was my husband. One thing about getting married, I had to pour myself in love first.
Yeah.
And that's what started with the
Yeah.
savings and stuff like that. I'm like, you know what? I gotta start doing me. But that's what attracted. I can't say what attracted my husband.
No.
However,
it's law
it
of
was that
attraction.
energy.
Law of attraction.
Right. It was just all right. I started loving me more. I started getting to my faith and
Mm-hmm.
prayers more. Started doing more spiritually. My kids started flourishing even more. Doing all kinds of stuff. It starts again with the mindset. You know what?
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on, but I need to fix it. Lord,
Yeah.
help it. You know my heart. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but you know what I want, right?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
starts there.
Yeah. The shift is within you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The shift within you
Yeah.
and everything else.
Yeah.
Finances, everything start flowing
Yeah.
just naturally.
Yeah. So we talked about we got 8 minutes. You know what? We're gonna talk about the credit structuring, like your payment history, your utilization. What are the credit when you're looking to go and get approved for something? What's something that the banks are looking for in a standpoint on credit? Because a lot of people think that, I got a 700 credit score. I can just walk in the bank and they're going to give me a loan. And then when they walk in, they get denied at a 720. You get denied because your profile isn't structured the way that they want it to be structured.
You just said a key right there.
You know?
Credit profile,
Yeah.
not credit score.
Right, exactly. And a lot of people look at the credit score only and not the profile, and they
And
get
then you gotta look at
confused.
the right credit scoring system.
Okay.
It ain't Credit Karma. It ain't Credit Wise
Exactly.
neither.
Yeah. They lying.
Not necessarily that they lying. It's just a different educational tool. I won't say that it's a lie. However, you need to know the difference and know the factors between the differences of the two and what you're actually using. Because you can go in there like, yeah, Credit Karma said that I had this on TransU and Equifax. Well, Credit Karma uses Vantage 3.0 scores. 95% of lenders don't even use Credit Karma. It's a great educational tool.
Yeah.
That you can use to help educate yourself, but that ain't something that you need to walk into an auto lender or somewhere else. And speaking of lenders, since you had mentioned that, you got to know what you're going for. Because you can't walk into the bank, I need a credit card for this, and thinking it's going to be the same thing if you walk into an auto lender.
Yeah.
There's an auto score, there's a bank score, there's a completely different mortgage score, and what scoring systems that they are off of as well, and which scoring scale that they're on. Because there's a FICO 2, 3, 4, 8. There's all of those. So knowing those different factors, you got to be educated. If you want to, you could actually start at myfico.com. That is a paid tool that mortgage lenders actually use. Because I can went to go buy a car last year. Dealer thought that I didn't know what I was talking about. And of course, I'm going to play dumb. I'm going dumb. Yeah. You said you use what score? Well, what scoring system do you use? Oh, well, we use FICO. Okay, which FICO do you use? Are you using the Auto Ace FICO score? Auto 2? Or are you just using the regular, just the main one?
Right.
They were like, oh, it ain't going to be nowhere near. Okay, no problem. Ran it. Oh, you said it was what? It was just knowing those simple tools and be like,
Right.
all right, now let's start talking since you thought I was a dummy.
Change the whole game.
Whole game.
Yeah.
You ain't
Yeah.
about to sit here and get over it. It's the education
Yeah.
and your due diligence of knowing
Yeah.
those differences and
Yeah.
be able to nah, you ain't about to just get over on me. I'm not just the average.
Right.
All right, now let me pop this hood so I can see what these spark plugs look like.
I think that's a big advantage knowing just, and that's a part of raising your, like, all of this is raising your financial IQ to the point where because we're in a world now where like you're gonna get it taken advantage of in this arena, and it's only fair game. It's like playing Monopoly. Like if I know all the rules to Monopoly and you don't, you're gonna lose every time. And it's fair game because the rules are accessible to you too. You have access to the rules too. You just choose not to read them.
Hello.
You know what I mean? And so
everything that you want to know, it's out there. You just got to go find it and have discernment on which one is actually true or false. Have discernment on which one is actually real or fake, which one's a scam or whatever the case may be, but continue to do your due diligence.
Right.
It's just like you can go to any credit repair agent or company, right? Which one's licensed and bonded?
Right.
Which ones can actually get you to where you're going?
Right.
Can they show you the actual bond?
Right.
Are they registered with the state?
Yeah, what's one of them trademarked?
Hello. Not just
Trademark.
trademark. Is it a registered trademark?
Is it registered?
Hello.
You need to check that. So, Shyla, tell the people how they can reach you if they're interested in your services.
Okay.
What's your socials, if you have any socials?
Yes. So, My Credit Healer on Facebook, Instagram. It's not Twitter no more. What is it now? X?
Is it it's X? I see. Look,
X or something like that?
I've been way out of date because I ain't been on Twitter. I thought it was still called Twitter. I ain't know they changed the name.
You can find me on My Credit Healer across all social medias and Shyla Healey across all social medias and TikTok as well.
Okay.
So, of course, either one is going to trade you back to either my personal or business page because you can find me on either.
Okay. Well, what's something that you would want to leave these people for, that's in the process of trying to fix their financial standpoint, mothers, and because that's your standpoint from the main point, right? Mothers. What's something that you would, some advice that you would give to the single mothers that would probably watch this episode when it comes to just trying to get on the right path financially? What's something that you feel like they probably can start? What area they probably can start if they're trying to do it themselves and don't have the actual money, the funds to do it with a professional at this point?
Financially, honestly, I'm going to tell her to take it back to mindset and tell her to take a step back and give yourself time and grace. I'm going to say that first because it's all going to be overwhelming, especially when you have children. You still trying to create a plan. Initiate the thought first and understanding where you have to go to see your goals and start planning it out from there. Everything takes time. It's a process. It's a journey just like motherhood is. You weren't born into it, but it comes with time.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell her to start there. That way she can be financially sound. And then I'm going to tell her, look at them finances. Them kids don't always need a Jordan. Them kids don't need 24 karat this, that, and the third, especially if they're going to tear it up a month or two. That baby is 1 year old. What they know about, what was it back in my day? Fubu, Dada, whatever. And what is it? Was it the Coach
Gucci.
and all that? Gucci. Who? For what? Why? They don't need it. It's because you want them to have it.
Yeah.
They only learn what you teach them, right?
Yeah.
But it starts with you.
Yeah. That's true. Well, Shyla, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. I can speak to you all day. As a matter of fact, I think we're probably gonna do a part 2, and I do want to talk to you more about the difference between a due date and what is it? Statement date. So y'all be on the look. Credit cards. I mean, we got so much to talk about. I mean, like I said, I could talk to you for hours. So y'all stay tuned for episode 2. Like I said, my name is DJ T Made. appreciate y'all checking in to Mind, Body, and Soul. Thank you, Miss Shyla, for coming out. Miss Shyla.
You said it right this time.
I said
Come
it
on
right
now.
this time. I said it right. Thank you, guys. We appreciate y'all. Love. Peace.